Danfo offers unparalleled, curated and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshi traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danfo, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danfo, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danfo, Africa. To learn more, visit danfo.africa.
Peace, family. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thanks so much for joining. Hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. We're back on tonight. We had a great discussion earlier in regards to, Jasmine Crockett, her losing. And what I don't understand, and we'll get to the topic here shortly. Why do Black people expect Latinos to support or vote for their candidate? That's something like I don't get. Why do you expect Latinos to vote for your candidate? So once again, Black folks are upset that Latinos didn't vote for Kamala Harris and they didn't vote for Jasmine Crockett. So now they're mad. Latinos aren't a monolith. Again, Latinos aren't a monolith. And I don't think, I don't know, Black people just purposely don't want to understand that. But that's just the reality. But anyways, got a couple of announcements. We're rolling to Senegal in May. That's May 9th through the 18th for the Jazz Festival. We are also going to Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. That's August 2nd to the 11th. Then we're going to Zanzibar in September. And then we are rolling to Sierra Leone in November. If you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo. That's DANFO.Africa. Again, please visit Danfo. That's DANFO.Africa to learn more. I'm gonna put the link in the chat room. I know when we yesterday, people wanted to like do a part 2 about the topic yesterday. And that was we're talking about Rwanda, Paul Kagame, who's a controversial figure. They just got sanctioned by the United States of America. In fact, I'll pull that up right now. And what's going on in the Congo? Is he a benevolent dictator or is he a dictator? So that's what we were discussing yesterday, and wanted to continue the conversation if you guys were interested. Oh, we back on again? Yeah, we back on again. Links in the chat room. Let me play this clip real quick. Shout out first post.
And now shifting focus to Rwanda, where the commemoration of the 1994 genocide also took a heated turn. During events marking 31 years since the genocide against the ethnic Tutsis, President Paul Kagame struck a defiant tone, responding to global criticism over Rwanda's role in the DRC. He lashed out at Western countries imposing sanctions, telling them, quote unquote, go to hell.
If anyone comes around and thinks they can, they come and say, hey, we're going to sanction you. To what? Go to hell. Just go to hell. You have your own issues to deal with. Go and deal with your own issues. Leave me to mine.
Rwanda faces growing pressure over alleged support to the Tutsi-led M23 rebels. The UK and Germany have cut aid. The US imposed sanctions on a Rwandan minister. The EU has done the same and is also reviewing a crucial mineral deal. Now, then Canada has suspended export permits and official visits. Apart from a furious response to these Western nations, Kagame has also cut ties with Belgium, accusing the former colonizer of consistently undermining Rwanda. Rwanda is accused of supporting the M23 rebels, a Tutsi-led militia in eastern DRC. The group has taken control of large swathes of territory, displacing hundreds of thousands of civilians. UN experts say that Rwanda has up to 4,000 troops in the region. President Kagame insists that Rwanda is not waging war, but is defending itself. He points to the presence of militias in eastern DRC linked to the 1994 genocide against Tutsis in Rwanda. But the present-day fight isn't just political. It has turned into a battle for rich mineral resources. The DRC's east is rich in key minerals like cobalt, tungsten, and tantalum. It's used in smartphones and electronics. The DRC accuses Rwanda of using M23 rebels to loot the minerals, which then enter the global supply chain. Under Kagame, who rose to power in post-genocide Rwanda, the country built strong Western ties. It sent troops to various peacekeeping missions, while it has also made efforts to build soft power by hosting tech summits and global events. But critics say that the image shielded it from accountability. Now, as the M23 gains ground, that shield may be breaking.
Go ahead, Uhuru. Uhuru, go ahead. Hello. All right. Listen, when you guys call in, make sure your Obama phones are good to go. Again, make sure your Obama phones are good to go when you guys call in, because you guys are calling in and you don't have your devices ready. But guys, links in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. Do you think Paul Kagame is a visionary or authoritarian? Visionaries usually have to be authoritarian because the fly cannot see as far ahead as they can. Oh, okay. Okay, well, he could be both, I guess. All right. All right. Has anybody in the chat been to Rwanda? I haven't been yet. And I'm really not that excited about going. Like, I'm really not that, excited or pressed to go. Like, I don't get excited about going to Rwanda. But this is hold on, let's play this real quick. This is between Donald Trump and Paul Kagame. Lived there half the year. Okay, how is it? Uhuru, go ahead. Uhuru.
Yes.
Go ahead. Hello? Guys, listen. When you guys call in, make sure the Obama phones are good to go.
Excellency Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, Excellencies, heads of state and government and former heads of state, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin with some words of thanks. First, to my fellow heads of state and government from Africa, your presence here confirms that these efforts enjoy the broad support necessary to succeed. I also thank Minister of State Kulaifi, representing His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad of Qatar. The role of Qatar has been absolutely central in getting us to this point. But of course, the biggest vote of thanks goes to President Donald Trump. No one was asking President Trump to take up this task. Our region is far from the headlines. But when the president saw the opportunity to contribute to peace, he immediately took it. This conflict has lasted for 30 years. We have seen countless mediations and efforts, but none has succeeded in resolving the underlying issues. President Trump introduced a new and effective dynamism that created the space for breakthroughs. His approach is even-handed, never taking sides. He orients us toward the future.
So Kagame did this, President Trump, and then Trump put him on sanctions, placed sanctions on him.
Not the past, emphasizing that the dividend of peace is prosperity and investment, including from the United States. More importantly, President Trump's approach is pragmatic. The process has not become an end in itself. All of these elements filter down to his dedicated team, and here I want to single out Secretary Rubio and Masad Boulos for special appreciation. We would not be here today without their efforts. And as a result, we have the clearest and most viable path forward that we have ever had. These accords provide everything needed to end this conflict once and for all. If this agreement falters and things do not work out as they are supposed to, the responsibility will not lie with President Trump.
Hey, you guys can call in. Links in the chat room. If you want to click in, go ahead and if you want to tap in, go ahead and click the link and tap in.
But with ourselves. It's up to us in Africa, working with our partners to consolidate and expand this peace. There will be ups and downs on the road ahead, There is no doubt about it. Rwanda, I know, will not be found wanting. I can assure you of that. Our only objective is and has always been for our country to be safe and secure after having endured so much tragedy. We now only want to look forward in confident expectation of a prosperous and stable future. Mr. President, Excellencies, I thank you for your kind attention.
All right, guys, hit the like button again. Please hit that like button. Links in the chat room if you want to call in after the conversation. Welcome to call in after the conversation. Again, wanted to do a part 2 from yesterday. But I mean, no one's gonna call in. We'll go ahead and close out, and I'll come holla at y'all tomorrow. So we'll wait another minute or so, and then we'll take it from there. But yeah, well, some people think Paul Kagame is a hero. I know Congolese hate him. But again, some people say they think he's a hero for what he turned Rwanda into after the genocide. Let's see what Trump has to say. Africa, go ahead.
Yeah, greetings again, Dinas. I mean, people should call in because this is like a part 2 from yesterday, right?
Right.
Yeah, and also the Congolese brother, if you're in the chat, call in. No, I stick to my point. I think is a bit of a weird one. If he claimed to be Pan-African, first of all, I give him credit for what he's trying to do for his people, and no doubt about that. And he also managed to develop his country quite well. Because Kigali is one of the cleanest cities, well developed, but you can't get over the fact that he actually allowed him and his people to be used by outsiders against his neighbors. And he used that same influence to pillage Congo. And Congo is a beautiful country. It's a very resource country, and it's right next door to him. I'm sure if he wanted to develop his country, wanted to make that country very economically developed. He could have done it in a different way, other than training terrorist group like M23 to invade another man's land, killing his own brothers, inviting other groups to come in to pillage the continent. I mean, I don't agree with him when it comes to that, but when it comes to developing Rwanda, you got to give him credit for that. And also, he had a bit of problem with the UK where I live because he promised to take refugees that was coming over here illegally, from by the right wing government. Because we was watching the UK government threatening, people that you're gonna get deported to Rwanda, if you do something wrong or you come here illegally. It's like the man is happy to actually work with one of the most right wing government that ever ruled this country. We are still paying, we're still feeling the legacy of the last conservative government. That's how right wing they were. And he actually associated himself with them. And a lot of the British public wasn't happy about that neither because they feel like, the Congo wasn't, Rwanda wasn't safe enough anyway. There's always problem going on, and he's actually not. He don't have a clean record when it comes to human rights violation in his country. But then he want to take money from the UK to accept refugees going into Kigali. So if he was that great, why didn't he accept refugees from other African countries? That's a question. But other than that, I think they had this legacy of superiority in within the tribal team because the Germans trying to measure nose, whoever got the longer nose and have certain type of features are more superior to the other blacks, which I think is disgusting. That's the same method that they use, same metrics that they use in the before the Second World War to look down on black people. So how can he buy into that concept? Because what he's doing now is kind of buying into that concept of we are better than your or the tribe because we look certain way and we've been approved by the racist, pro-Nazi, legacy. So the German, I think the German was there, then the Belgian, then the British. So they've been used by different powers actually when you think about it. And how is it allowed to be used like that? And he called himself Pan-African. But other than that, I think he's not the only one that's pillaging Congo, if I'm honest with you. As the brother was saying yesterday, other countries are on it as well.
Mhm.
And also a lot of companies, multinational corporations are coming in, South Africans, mercenaries in there, pillaging Congo. And I didn't actually know that until I saw the invasion of the M23 in Congo the last time. I realized South Africans are actually in there also. I'm talking about white South Africans. So no, I think he's a scam. He's a scam Pan African. But to his people, he's a hero. But then another man hero is another man terrorist, right? So we've got to look at it like that.
All right, guys, hit the like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, make sure
Yeah.
you share and make sure you subscribe. I want to hear what Trump had to say during the
Meeting between him and Congo, right?
yeah. I wonder what Trump had to say. But yeah, so I mean, they got hit with the sanctions. So I mean,
All
that's
right.
it's interesting how that's going to play out, especially
Oh,
after this peace
that's
agreement.
mm. To be honest, the first time I saw that meeting happening, I thought what Trump will do, what America is going to do, they're going to remove Rwanda's influence from Congo. They're going to step on his plates. That's what they will do, and it's happening now. And also, didn't Biden build a railway? Was it the Labito corridor as well? Was it around that region? I don't know. Can someone help me?
I'm not
Because he
sure.
was, yeah, I don't know if it was to do with Angola or Congo, but he built a railway to the east to connect. Sorry, I think it was Labito corridor. I think something like that. I don't know. It might be to do with actually with Angola. Well, Biden started it. He was actually quite interested in that region. The whole world is interested in Congo, and it's a place that a lot of West Africans have actually went to make money. That this is a place what some of us need to start visiting because we can't just sit by and watch them pillage the place and not make use of the opportunity.
Okay.
But
Go
yeah,
ahead, Willie.
I'll pass back. I'll pass it
Go
back.
ahead, Willie.
So I'm always looking to learn, right? So if I'm not mistaken, the gentleman y'all are talking about, he was a Tutsi, correct?
Correct.
And so my question then becomes like when we look at, that massacre that happened and the Tutsis' involvement in it, is he to be celebrated or is he like the brother said, like just another puppet, like another false hope?
It depends who you talk to.
Yeah, that's most of the
Yeah,
conversation on the continent. Depends on who you're talking to.
that's true. Depend on their tribal loyalty or regional. This is trouble. This is what we have in Africa, right? They
But
also
also
do
there
personal
is,
interest.
That's
Okay, Congolese
but
that's
brother
why
is here.
that's why when my brother Kwame says that you know, the best things that Black Americans could do is come colonize over there to a certain degree. It sounds crude, it sounds harsh, but I don't think that white leadership can make these groups get past their tribalism to a point where they work for a goal.
I agree, really. We're not Africans. You are the Africans. Listen, if African Americans and the Caribbeans are the Africans, we are not. We're just tribal groups. That's what we
Well, we're
are.
African Americans. Like we
No, but
recognize
yeah,
where we
because you
came.
know what I'm
We
saying now.
recognize where we came from, but we don't
Yeah,
have
because
that connection with the continent.
yeah. But what I'm trying to say is, really, sorry, you got different tribes in you, and you know, I learned that from growing up in Sierra Leone, like the Maroons, the Creole people. They don't care about tribalism, and they the one that actually, you know, steer us away from this tribal stuff. That's why even during the war in Sierra Leone, it had nothing to do with religion or tribalism because we wasn't brought up like that,
Because
and
here's
we
the
was
reality of the
yeah,
American dynamic. We were all
yeah,
just lumped together, right? The
right,
tribalism went out the
exactly,
window, right? We were all
right,
slaves. You know what I
right,
mean? And we all had to fight for our freedom together. So we became one
exactly.
people.
Hmm.
All right, let me pass the
Yeah.
mic to Call. Go ahead, Call. Unmute yourself,
All
Call. Go
right.
ahead.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
You always
So yeah.
cut me off.
To
People don't even
all
be
right.
ready.
So yeah, to help the brother, yes, there is the Lobito corridor, which the Biden administration kind of negotiated and start funding. It goes from Angola, port of I think it's in Lobito, to the Congo.
Okay.
So it's actually a channel, a way of getting those mines, minerals out of Congo and
Out.
to the Atlantic Sea. And
Thank you.
yeah, so the other thing which the brother spoke about, yes, about the subject of today, as I've said, I don't know, let me put this video before I can speak. This is a video of one of a researcher talking about Kagame and the situation in Congo and liken it to what Leopold II did. Not my words, listen. I don't know if, let me put enough volume so that you can hear. It's on Rumble. Anyone who wants, it's a Dutch Pan-African channel, African stream. The King Leopold of 2024 is Paul Kagame. Listen to what he said. You see, whenever Paul Kagame is admitting that Congo's minerals go through Rwanda, some people come from Congo, whether they smuggle or go through the right channels, they bring minerals. Most of it goes through here, does not stay here. Over 100 years ago, there was a man who did the same thing. His name was King Leopold II, right? And Mark Twain wrote something really nice called Leopold's Soliloquy, where Leopold is speaking and saying, the world is saying that Congolese are dying.
Hey, are you on speakerphone?
It's a really good, almost like a poem. Wait, listen first. Can you feel it? Leopold, right?
I can't hear him.
Saying that you can't hear? Denying the charges against him.
Playing.
I'm playing it.
Oh, okay. I was like, are you on speakerphone or what? Go ahead.
Yeah, can I continue? Yeah, okay. Because there was a movement to stop King Leopold over 100 years ago due to the work of the Congo Reform Association for the killings taking place, the heads being chopped off in Congo to get access to what? To rubber and ivory. The King Leopold of 2024 is Paul Kagame. He serves the same role as King Leopold did over 100 years ago. King Leopold was getting access to rubber, but that rubber didn't stay in Belgium. That rubber ended up in the United States. For the tires of the cars, there was this boom in the car industry with Ford, the bicycles, and so on. Today, there is a boom in electric vehicles as well, right? And who's on with is again Kigali. So, yeah, there you have it. That's it from.
Attaching him to King Leopold is problematic.
No, let me explain it. This is a lot of research.
He is the biggest man. Nobody killed Africans more than Leopold. He killed more Africans than any colonizer, anybody you can think of.
Right.
So,
Really,
so, so even if you say, for example, with the question that the brother asked,
okay, you got a minute. I got to pass it to the other people on the panel.
Okay, when you say that the Kagame, how they're gonna tell you it depends on which side they are. Yes and no. Those who are tribalistic, it will be like that. But there is also research and facts which are there. For people look at the facts, even Tutsi, a lot of Tutsi, it's just propaganda that's saying that all Tutsi like Kagame. A lot of Tutsi, for example, there is this celebrity, a Tutsi Rwandan celebrity who's
I could believe that.
He's an artist. He's a artist in Canada. He doesn't like Kagame because Kagame, he saw how his family died. It was the Kagame's gang who unalived them in Rwanda during the Rwanda genocide. So when they are outside because they are free, they can speak their mind. But when they are in Rwanda, it's a control, it's a tyrant system. You cannot speak your mind. So they don't have
a fan of Jesse Jackson, so I get the correlation there.
Yeah. So
like just
okay, I'll
because you're
stop by
Tutsi
there.
doesn't mean you support.
Okay, let me pass the mic to CD. Go ahead, CD. Unmute yourself, CD.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Hello, sir.
Hey, how you doing, Africa? How you doing,
Donnie? CD is copy. Go ahead, CD.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I'm okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
brother. Thank you.
So, I'm glad that right now, US were able to figure out this guy is a con. He been looting his neighboring country, Congo, for years. But again, I've been to Rwanda, right? The way people exaggerate that Rwanda is developed, I did not see that. When you say country is developed and a country is reached to certain level, is too expensive for ordinary Rwandese, how will you classify that to be developed? I mean, even infrastructure wise, I did not see that at all. I only saw one big soccer stadium compared to places like Cote d'Ivoire, where when they were playing African Cup of Nations in 2024, because I was there, they built almost 7 stadiums, right? I'm talking about well-advanced stadiums compared to what I saw in Kigali, right? So, there's an example. If you stop a cab driver in Uber and you want to go to a certain part of Kigali, the cab drivers don't even know where they're going. They have to ask you where is the address. Whereas compared to Nairobi, all you need to do is to call Uber and it will take you wherever you want to go, right? So I did not see that. It's almost like when someone talk or Bobo Julaso or Burkina Faso or that the country is Ouagadougou, that's Ibrahim Traore. Yeah, he's picking up, but if you go to Bobo Julaso or Ouagadougou, you don't see that development yet. But people exaggerate to a certain level. I did not see that in Kigali at all. And it was really boring for me too, right? So, and
Right.
I know a lot of Rwandese in the era of DC because DC is their base. They and the Ethiopian, there are a lot of them in DC. Bunch of them driving cab, the cab drivers. When they talk about this guy about you or Paul Kagame, you wouldn't even want to talk about him. The way he's suppressing them, he's killing them. And the lucky part is only two
But
tribes
most of them
in
are
Rwanda.
Hutus, though.
Right. So no, the whole thing is only 2 tribes in Rwanda. Normally
But no, in
there should
DC,
not be any kind of travel war right over there. So it's easy for him to control them.
I'm
Right.
saying in
But I'm glad.
DC, if you get in a cab with a Rwandan, 9 times out of 10 it's a Hutu, not a Tutsi.
No, I don't. That's not the point. The point is, it's so difficult to move around. In Kigali, they don't even know where they're going. So you, as a tourist, if you go to Kigali, you want Uber to take you to certain places, they don't even know. They will ask you for the address. Compared to Nairobi, where when you get into the cab, like for example, you get in the cab in Nairobi, you pick up a cab in Kilimani, you want to go to Westland, certain part of Westland, when you want to Westgate Mall, they know everything. Everything is there, but Rwandese cab drivers struggle to take you in places in Kigali. So
So
I
let me
didn't
ask you,
even
my
see that
brother,
development at all.
is that because of infrastructure or technology, right? Like, cause like I've never been to Tennessee, right? My daughter just won a national championship in cheerleading, right? And we had to go to Tennessee. But I know how to navigate these roads having never been there. One, because of the infrastructure. We have signs. You in this town, you in that town. And two, because of the technology, right? Like
But
I've got GPS.
well, they seen the Uber Django, right? Django, they have Django in Abidjan. They have in Nairobi. They have in Rwanda. I just feel ordinary Rwanda. Not their illiteracy rate is so high. They not. If you get into Uber, they're not supposed to ask you the address, right? Technology should have the French-speaking country like Ivory Coast. When you go there, you want to go to Django. You want to take Django from your Pugon to go to or Abobo, or you want to go to a plateau. They won't even ask you. The technology show everything.
They pull off as soon as you get in the car. That was
Right.
my experience in Ghana. Like, you going
Yeah,
where? I got you. He's gone. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
But that, and
yeah,
ask anybody, if I'm lying, people that have visited Rwanda, they will tell you this. I would never go to Rwanda the second time. That would gonna be my
right.
last time going there. I
No, I
struggle a
believe
lot.
you.
And
I
things are
believe
too
you.
expensive too compared to Nairobi. Nairobi, everything is cheap. Uber drive like 50 cents, dollar. If you can take Uber from Kilimani and go to all the way to Westgate Mall or, another advanced mall or service center or Westland, in the middle of Westland, just cheap and food, a bundle of food. I mean, uh,
Is
I,
that due
I,
to lack of infrastructure?
but people look at infrastructure, right? It's easier to develop place like Kigali. It's not a mountain city. It's easy. The road were already there. All he did to repave the road and put tires, right? And plant flowers, right? Don't get me wrong. The city is clean, but that's not the whole of Rwanda. Looks like that,
Right, right.
But
Tidi,
hold on a
when
second.
you
you know.
Tidi, could
So
you compare, or how would you
if we go
compare
back to
Abidjan
Kagame
and
though,
Nairobi? How would you compare the two cities, Abidjan and Nairobi?
Or
Which one would
the
you say
difference
is
is
more?
now Abidjan has a more beautiful building and infrastructure compared to Nairobi. Because
Okay.
Nairobi
Ah,
is the yeah, but infrastructure wise, if you
yeah.
travel in over the Ivory Coast, they
Mm.
have a better infrastructure than Nairobi. Nairobi
So
has a
if someone
tall
lies to
building
me,
because
then
the Chinese carrying a lot of development buildings. Because I have
mm-hmm.
I have a project in Nairobi and also Abidjan,
Right, right.
but Abidjan is on different level, and then
Okay.
the
No,
electricity is 24 hours in Abidjan.
because of the infrastructure.
ah,
Yeah,
yes,
you know.
yes.
So now, if we could bring it
Mm.
back to Kagame
Nice,
for a
nice to
second,
know.
right?
Hmm.
Here's my question, right? Because I'm always looking to learn more about African leadership, right? I feel like when I hear my brothers from the continent, like y'all, talk about the leadership, it's always a lot of criticism. But I'm saying, how is that criticism being weighed out, right? Because in certain situations, you got to get dirty. You got to, you know what I mean, enforce some things. You got to exploit some groups. That's like even a reality in America, right? But the one thing that, as a Black American, I judge Black leaders on is what are you bringing back home, right? Like Adam Clayton Powell, right? He had a lot of conversations with a lot of different groups, but at the end of the day, he did a lot for Harlem, right? He helped build that infrastructure. He helped, give the people a better lifestyle. So I'm always curious as to that when I
But
hear these
when you say
conversations about
lifestyle
leaders.
in what, in Harlem? I live in Harlem, but
Well,
I
so
won't see
Adam Clayton Powell,
any
but
black
understand
leadership
though,
really give that amount of development to black
Adam
people.
Clayton Powell
Otherwise,
goes back to 40s and 50s though. So he was literally instrumental in laying the foundation that made you call Harlem home, right? Like the building on 125th and 7th Ave, that's the Adam Clayton Powell state office building,
Yeah,
right?
I pass by that building
He's
every morning.
but
That building, that was a Clinton office. Clinton used it as his office.
correct.
But
He
what
had
I'm
all
telling
those.
you
Correct. He had a whole
right
floor.
now, yeah, but
Wait. I don't want to go away from the point. What I'm saying is, for me, right, when I look at the resources he brought back to the community, yeah, I can respect him as a
yeah, but I don't see that right now. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, Willie, what resources did he bring back?
damn, my bad, I'm back. I got a call, my fault. Adam
All right,
Clan
so
Powell is someone that I respect as a leader because of the resources he brought back
What
to the
resources?
Harlem community.
What
what
resources?
resources?
There was a number of things, like there were building projects, there was, community investment in terms of creating programs and stuff for children, right? Like everything wasn't perfect. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying when I look at a Black American leader, I judge him on what he brought back to Black communities, right? That's why I do have a certain level of smoke for Minister Farrakhan, right? Or even a Jesse Jackson, right? Like everyone didn't do what was best for the community. So when I'm hearing these conversations about African leaders, I hear a lot of criticism, but I'm always curious, are they doing anything for even certain groups of people? I understand tribalism plays a role. So if he's not doing
I
for
can
you,
answer. I can answer
Yeah,
to
but
that.
let me
Can I
finish.
answer?
I'm that's my turn. I haven't finished yet. So you give me a question. So first of all, your comparison doesn't make sense at all because I live in Harlem. If Black leadership that was in Harlem
Give
were to
him
control
Magufuli.
Harlem, eh? So if the
Give him the
Black
example
leadership,
of Magufuli. The
if
Well,
they
example
did
of
not,
leadership of
hold on,
Magufuli. For example.
let him finish. Go ahead,
I'm
CD.
cool.
so the Black leadership were to hold Harlem in tight, I don't think if white people are going to dominate Harlem right now. It's almost like 70% white right now, 30% Black.
No, that's not
When
true. It's
Charles
not that high.
Charles Rango, he sold the whole of Harlem to
Stop
white
right there.
folks.
Stop right there.
And then
I'm glad you went there. Stop right there, right?
s- s-
So
so I'm
I
bro,
have
I
all of
lived
the
my whole
smoke.
life in Harlem. I know
Hold,
Harlem politics a lot.
you Senegalese?
Even Ashaton, they also Harlem to white folks.
You Senegalese?
It's a disaster. It was a disaster for black people to lose Harlem.
All
I'm
right, but
telling
wait.
you.
Let me make you understand the point I'm making, because when you brought up Charles Rangel, right, you brought up a valid point, right? I crashed out on Charles Rangel as a 14-year-old kid at Harlem Week, right? Yes. Charlie Rangel sold out Harlem, right? So I can have that. When I look at the gentrification, I can say you were a part of that. You sold us out, right? But I can have the respect for Adam Clayton Powell with some of the things he brought to the community. So I'm not trying to get hung up on the nuances there. I'm asking, when I'm trying to evaluate these African leaders, right? I'm trying to give it a fair shake. So I get some people are going to be completely against the brother, what is it, Kagame, right? But I'm saying, did he do anything for his people? Did he
No,
benefit
no, I
Rwanda
did
at
not
all?
see that. I did not see that in Rwanda. First of all, when they say country is developed, you got to look at the human development, human resources.
Absolutely.
How were the people how were informed? The Rwandese, when I went, I didn't see that amount level of development in them compared to Kenyans, right? And the illiteracy rate to me is very high. Even the one that live on the West Coast, I mean on the East Coast in DC. I'm not saying they're not there, but most of them driving cab, hustling, and they not even think of going to Rwanda. They would talk really bad about Rwanda, you
But most
know.
of them are
So
Hutus, though.
it
And
doesn't
so,
matter. It doesn't matter.
nah, it
it,
does
No, it's
matter.
not true.
Hold on,
It's
really
not
quick.
true. It's not true. It's not
What's
true.
not
They
true?
are
Can you
it
give me?
in
doesn't.
the DC area. This area, there is probably equal amount of Tutsis and Hutus. I'm telling
Right.
you,
I
because
hold
remember.
on, hold on. So I
So I
lived
Okay,
go
in
to DC
Baltimore.
most of the
I
time.
spent.
The
Hold on.
cab driver then that take me from I think Union Square. Union Square in DC.
New York
Most of them
Street,
either
7th Street.
Ethiopians or Rwandese. And then when you ask them about Kagame, they don't even want to talk about him. Almost
I,
99.9% of them.
so here's the
They
thing,
talk.
though, right? Like, I've been in a lot of those cabs, right? And I've had conversations with Hutu brothers, right? I have a baseline understanding of that conflict, right? And how they got accepted into America as refugees. So I understand when they're critical of whatever's still going on in Rwanda, right? But that's not really the question. The question is, if the topic is about the brother Kagame, has he done anything right? Is my basic question.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, looking at what the country went through, the bloody civil war and the genocide. Yeah, we can throw all everything that he did for Rwanda into the toilet, right? He did some, but people exaggerate to a certain level, which of course Rwanda is not to that level. And then I find it very expensive too, even Airbnb, buying land in Rwanda. Things not moving smoothly compared to Nairobi.
Other countries.
Right.
I got you.
So yeah, there's some level of development because of what the country went through, brutal civil war. But I would not live in Rwanda. I'm not. Yeah, I won't even go there for the second visit. I did not like it at all.
Now let me
No,
pass the mic
I
to
mean,
Haru. Let me pass the mic to Haru. Go ahead, Haru. Unmute yourself.
Hey, what's happening, y'all?
Peace.
So I'm
Peace,
listening.
family.
I'm listening
yeah.
to the conversation, and tuned into Dionysus and have enjoyed your shows for some time, man. It's my first time calling,
Thank
but
you.
yeah, man, big up to what you're doing, and I love what you're doing with the fine for people using the N word, man. I love that.
Yo,
But
chill out. I spent about $150 on that fine.
so yeah, I'm a brother who was born in Ghana, and
Mm.
I was raised in the United States, and I've lived in Rwanda to the point where my son has gone to school in Rwanda,
Mm.
registered for school, and all that. So I have a lot of experience with Rwanda, and I can tell you this unequivocally that out of all the different countries that I have experience in and have done business in, and I'll give you lists of countries that I've lived in and done business: Ghana,
We
Gambia.
believe you. You don't have to run down the resume. I
Well,
believe you.
no, I'm not going to do a resume,
Well,
but
Willie, don't interrupt him.
this is
Go
this is
ahead,
going to
Haru.
be
My
this is
bad.
going to
My
be
bad.
important because I'm doing a comparative analysis.
I
So
got you.
I have to give you names of countries. Though I have not lived and been in all of them, but the ones I can talk about are in West and East Africa. So West Africa, I've spent time in Sierra Leone, have set up business, have a factory in Gambia,
Mm.
uh, have lived in Nigeria, lived in Lagos, of course Ghana because that's where I was born, and then I've spent time in Nairobi, Mombasa, Kenya, and then Tanzania, Zanzibar, and I've lived in Rwanda.
Dope.
And I can tell you unequivocally, in terms of my observations, particularly for someone being from West Africa, that Rwanda is by far the best country that I've been in, and I'm not even talking about in Africa, in the world.
Really?
I've not yet been to Singapore, and I can give you real information for somebody who's lived there. So I went to Rwanda for the first time in 2018, and I was just looking at YouTube videos about different places in Africa to go because I was living in the Virgin Islands and we had two Category 5 hurricanes, and
Mm.
it was very clear to me that I wanted to not be in the Caribbean during hurricane season.
2022.
And so no, it's 2017 when we had
17. All
these
right.
Hurricane Irma and Maria.
I
And
remember that.
so we're just looking for a place to go. And of course, Ghana would have been the fallback because that's where I'm from, speak the language and all of that. But I started seeing things about Rwanda, and I was shocked because all I'd heard about Rwanda from time immemorial, at least since 1990s, was the genocide and the problems going there and the lack of development. So I was shocked to see people calling it the Singapore of Africa and talking about Kigali as the cleanest city in Africa.
Mm.
Well, I decided to go and see for myself instead of listening to what other people had to say, good or bad, because it's very important for people to experience the world uh, directly instead of through
Firsthand.
rumors and innuendos and whispers. Uh,
Agreed.
just like you may see videos of Harlem, but you never know what it's like until you actually are in Harlem yourself.
Agreed.
So you have a lot of people talking about Rwanda who may have visited, some have never visited, certainly have not even spent a lot of time and lived there to the point where they have registered a business, done business. So a lot of their commentary may be from books, news, articles, what have you. You always have to question who the author is. Now, when I landed in Rwanda, I was absolutely shocked. So one of the things, now this is for travelers, and Dinus, I know you travel, and I'm gonna say something that you probably would agree with. But one of the ways that you can tell about the tenor of a country is actually to check the bathrooms at the airport when you
The
land.
airport. Yeah.
Um, when you get to Rwanda, it's absolutely spick and span. It's the cleanest place that I've been in my lifetime.
Mm.
And the cleanest city that I had ever been to before Rwanda was Toronto, Canada, in in around 2009, 2010.
You
I've
went to
heard.
Carabana.
No, I didn't go to Carabana, but I just went to Toronto, and I just thought it was just remarkably clean. Now, this is a brother. I grew up in Chicago. I went to school in Boston. Spent my time in Miami. Uh,
College in
and
Boston?
yeah, I went to college in Boston. I went to law school in
BU?
Boston as well. No,
Northeastern?
I went to Tufts University for undergrad, and I went to Northeastern School of Law for law school.
That's what's up.
So I was there for like 7, 8 years. But the cleanest place that I'd been before Rwanda was Toronto, Canada. And then when I went to Rwanda, Rwanda completely blew away Toronto, Canada.
Mm.
So what I wanted to do is I wanted to understand why Rwanda was so different, particularly from Ghana, from which I had a lot of experience, in Nigeria, where you see trash all over the road. So one of the measures of competency is the ability to do things that are very basic. What we've seen with these most of these African leaders is that they have not solved waste management at all. And so this is, the level of intelligence and competency is the ability to solve problems. And I would say that the ability for Rwandan government and Paul Kagame to solve problems is second to none.
Mm.
I say this unequivocally. In Rwanda, there is no trash on the roads, none. Plastic bags are banned. Um, Health insurance is about $1 a year, so it's pretty much free for everybody. And the government asks you to meet them halfway. So I think it's is it the second or the third Saturday of every month, is what they call Car Free Saturday. And what they do is they shut down the downtown, and the whole country is invited to come and exercise publicly.
Mm.
Right? This is something anyone can go and just look online. And then, of course, you have um, I think it's the last Sunday of every month where the country shuts down. It's called Umaganda, and everyone cleans the country. And it's seen very clearly. So the national consciousness is completely against littering, which is a place where you would want to be if you like cleanliness. The other side, too, of that is that there's no way that any African leader can expect other leaders from other countries to come into your country and do business when your streets are full of trash. Just from the road from the airport to the government offices, people are looking at your country and what
That's what
type of
investors
deal,
look at.
yes,
I
what
agree.
type of deal are you going to strike when you've got garbage all over your roads that you
I
have not
agree.
solved? You can't do business like that. Now, there's so many other things that I've recognized in terms of solving business. And these are just some basic things. So, for instance, in Rwanda, in all over Africa, for those of you who've lived in Africa and have lived in the Caribbean, we know that one of the biggest problems is public transportation, in terms of buses or taxis and people getting into accidents uh, on the road. We all have seen that, and we all know those tragic stories, right?
Uh,
So, people are speeding and driving, and people are incentivized to speed because of the fact that you make more money, the more people you can take to locations. So people are incentivized to speed. No one pays attention to the speed limits in Ghana. No one pays attention to it in Nigeria. No one pays attention to it in Sierra Leone. No one pays attention in Jamaica, right? Now, in Rwanda, they've solved that problem by making sure that every single car that is used for commercial purposes to deliver people from point A to point B must have what is known as a speed governor in the engine. Speed governor is a device that limits the
Limit your
speed
speed.
of a
Yeah.
car. Every single car, whether it's a bus, a taxi, a van, must have this device so that these vehicles can't go more than, let's say, 40 miles an hour.
Wow.
Because what they realize is that it's a public health problem. And they are solving these problems in some of the most simple ways possible. And it's very effective.
And this is
I'm
under Kagame?
This is under Kagame, yes.
Really?
And so he needs to be studied. People can say whatever they want to say about Kagame and the rumors of, what's going on in the Congo, which has been contested in many different ways. There's actually, I would tell your listeners, there is a brother out of Zimbabwe. I think his name is Rutendo. He's a well-known Pan-Africanist. He's very active on TikTok, and for years he's been spewing vitriol about Paul Kagame being this, person committing genocide in the Congo and being a puppet of the United States. We know we've heard all of these arguments from people. And he decided that he was going to go to Rwanda himself to see what really was happening and go to the Congo himself. Well, guess what happened? When he did his own fact-finding mission, he had to go on an interview and make a public apology to Paul Kagame. Because a lot of things that were being said, he saw that wasn't true, like Rwanda not having any mines.
Matanyare? Is that how?
Yeah, I think it's Rutendo. I can give you his name.
Yeah, Lieutenant Matinyara, that
Yes.
he was threatened before he do that.
People
He was
know he
threatened.
wasn't. No, he talks about it very in detail. I think that you should watch. It's a very long interview. It's a 2-hour interview, and I think that those people interested in it, and I can give, I can look up later and just, put it in the chat.
I'm pulling
I
up
think
his
that
stuff
those
right
people
now.
who are
I'm with you.
interested should really watch his interview, because this is a brother who's a staunch Pan-Africanist who was completely against Kagame, saying death to Kagame, and blaming Kagame for what was happening in the Congo. And then he decided, instead of reading newspapers and reading people's articles and what have you, he was going to go see for
To
himself.
go to the nation.
And he went himself, and after he went and saw everything himself, he saw that most of the things that he was spewing was completely debunked by what he saw. He went and talked to M23 in Goma. He went to Rwanda and went to the different mines, because they said, oh, there are no mines in Rwanda. And people don't understand that Rwanda actually has refineries. So even the coltan that people talk about, it's not being refined in the Congo. People would take it and it's refined actually in Rwanda, and Rwanda has a gold refinery as well. So what I'm going to tell you all is this, and I'm going to close with this because I want to just, hog up the space, and I can take any questions that people have. Is a couple things in terms of practically living in Rwanda. We talk about the prices of Rwanda and living. Living in Rwanda is cheaper. Living in Kigali is cheaper than living in Accra, Ghana. This is just a fact. And as a matter of fact, anyone who's tried to live in Accra, if you want to rent a house, you have to pay a whole year rent, sometimes 2, up front. That's not the case in Rwanda. Number 2, the police in Rwanda. All of us who've been living in Africa know that there is a tax that every person moving around on the roads has to pay, and that is a tax to the police for any type of spot checks that they want to give you, and you have to dash them money. In Rwanda, if you try to bribe a police in Rwanda, they will arrest you. They will arrest you because Paul Kagame has made it very clear that he has spies. So the police don't know if when you're bribing them, you're actually a spy from the president's office. And it is completely cut down on corruption. absolutely cut down. It is the most corrupt free place that I've been in. And here's an example. If you want to go to Rwanda and you want to start a business, because business is the lifeblood of economics and the economy. People don't have money because people don't have jobs. People don't have jobs because entrepreneurs are not made welcome in many different countries with all
Not
types of red
investing
tape, and you
in.
can't do anything.
I got you.
So I'll give you an example. In Ghana, I set up a business and registered a business. You know how long it took my business to get registered in Ghana? It took 7 months.
Sheesh.
You know how long it took me to register my business in Rwanda?
A month.
No, 12 hours. Because you could do everything online in Rwanda.
That's a
It's
solid
extremely
economy.
developed. The internet speed is just as fast as Miami. Rarely had electricity issues. There's free internet on public transportation. Um, by law, no laws can be passed in Rwanda unless the parliament has 50% women, because they figured out that women need to be part of making the laws because they're the mothers, and no one's going to think about the next generation better than mothers. So right now, the parliament of Rwanda is the highest percentage of women in the world, which is about 67%. It's a very progressive place. They're doing car manufacturing there. Let's talk about the hospital system. Do you know that in Rwanda, uh, they deliver hospital supplies to rural areas through drones? So if you have a hospital in a rural area that's, takes a long time to get to, or it's in a distant place, and you need supplies urgently, they deliver it by drones. It's completely advanced. They teach computer science as a second language in the Rwandan school system. Computer science as a second language.
Mm.
Okay? This is not a place that's to be played with in terms of the progressiveness and what Kagame is doing. And even if you don't like Kagame and you have all these rumors about Kagame, one thing you cannot say about Kagame is you cannot say that the man does not know how to manage a country.
Mm.
So the title is he an authoritarian? What is it? Is Kagame an authoritarian?
Right. That was the title.
There's another thing, authoritarian or something else, right? What is the title? Because I'm not looking at it right now, Dinah.
I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
Is Paul
It's more of
Kagame a
like
visionary or
it's more of like you
authoritarian?
coming
A
to praising
visionary
them
or an
than what we're talking
authoritarian?
Okay,
about.
yeah, visionary or an authoritarian. My answer is that he's both. He's
Mm.
both a visionary and an authoritarian. Because guess what? There's no way that you're going to take a country that was involved in a genocide where you have two ethnic groups killing each other and not hold the peace
Without being
without being
aggressive.
an authoritarian,
Yeah.
without having security. Now, I'll tell you another thing about Rwanda. It is the only country in the world where my wife can go out jogging at 2 a.m. and I'm not worried about her safety. Literally. My wife can go out 2 a.m. in Rwanda and I'm not worried about anyone doing anything to her. That's how safe Rwanda is. And I'm not just talking about, so we're talking about Rwanda, I'm not just talking about Kigali, because a lot of people say, oh, only Kigali's clean. That's completely untrue. You can go to Musanze. Musanze, spick and span clean. You can go to Gisenyi. Gisenyi, spick and span clean. You can go all these different places and you will be able to see for yourself, and you will actually see this is the country that every single African country should aspire to.
Let me ask you something, brother, because you made a lot of good points, and I'm Googling as we go, right? So I'm going to study
Yeah.
some of this stuff once I go in the
Yeah.
house. But was Kagame actually involved in the genocide? Because that's
Well,
one of, from what I'm looking at, one of the staunch
okay,
criticisms.
well, what they accuse him of is they accuse that he was involved in the death of the previous president who was a Hutu, and then they said that actually caused the genocide. But
That
there was actually
initiated, right?
there was previous genocides before that. He actually is a refugee. He didn't grow up in Rwanda. He's a refugee because Tutsis were being genocided when he was a child, and he is actually credited for stopping the genocide. Now, here's one thing that people should understand is that before the recent genocide in the 1990s, there was another genocide years early. This is when Kagame was a child. He was raised in Uganda. Now, his people, the Tutsi people, were genocided off, and they had to grow up outside of Rwanda because they had to flee Rwanda, or else they were going to get killed by the Hutus. And if anyone's interested in the enmity that was happening, there's a thing called Hutu supremacy. You should read it. You should read. It says, no Hutu person should ever hire a Tutsi person. No Hutu person should ever marry a. It's a real, like, it sounds like some white supremacist, racist, KKK doctrine, but it's called the Hutu supremacy. It has some other names. You can look it up and you can see their manifesto. And it was a way to treat Tutsi people as persona non grata, and they had to leave the country. Now, when
Hutu power, an
Hutu power,
extremist
that's what it is.
ethnic
Yes,
supremacist ideology
yes,
that asserts the superiority of the Hutu people,
yes,
primarily in Rwanda. Okay.
exactly. And those are the people who were seen as committing genocide against the Tutsi people, of which Paul Kagame is now. Paul Kagame studied military science, and he was a military intelligence officer in Uganda, and he decided to take his training and free his people and stop the genocide that was happening in Rwanda. Now, here's what I would say.
But he was a part of the RPF, though.
He was just a rebel. He
Yes,
didn't do anything. He was just a rebel.
he was a rebel, and when the RPF, when they ended up stopping or winning, the genocide ended. Now, here's the thing. Most of these African leaders that you see, because tribalism is a defect within the African personality.
I say that all the time.
Okay? He did not go ahead and engage in retribution, where he's saying, "Okay, we're going to kill all the Hutus now," which is typically what would happen. Guess what he did? Once the genocide was over, he passed a law, and it's in law that's in place right now. In Rwanda, you cannot identify yourself as a Tutsi or a Hutu by law. The only thing that you can call yourself in Rwanda is two things. You can call yourself a Rwandan or an African.
That is progressive.
Okay? And,
I like that.
And the next thing that I would say is that and I know that a lot of people listening are from Africa, so you all are going to take this to heart. We know when people get power in Africa, how they loot the country that they're supposed to be ruling in favor of only their family or their loyal, people within their loyalty group. And usually
They start out freedom fighters and they become tyrants.
We've seen this all the way. So we know what looters of a country look like. They never build a country. So what you will notice when you go to Rwanda is that country is being built. And every time I leave and I come back maybe a year later, because I spend months at a time in Rwanda, the place looks completely different. Because every single public works project, and anyone who's been to Rwanda who's actually watching would notice this. Every single public works, what do I mean by public works project? A road, a hospital, a school, a sewer system. You will see a big poster in the work area, and will have written in bold letters, date of completion. This is very profound and very important. So the date of completion might be January 1st, 2027. That puts everyone on notice that this project will be over. I mean, there's highways in Miami that hasn't been finished in the last 15 years because the Cubans have been grifting, right? In Rwanda, they have date of completion for every single public works project, and guess what? They finish ahead of time. I've never seen this level of efficiency in any black nation I've been in. And I've lived in Jamaica, so this is the Caribbean. I've lived in Barbados. I've lived in the Virgin Islands. I've lived in all the places I stayed in Africa. I've lived in Chicago. I've lived in Boston.
That's where my people from Barbados.
I've never seen this level of competency and efficiency from any group of people or any government or any nation in the world. And I would say to all the people that have the of Kagame, go. You never know a man until you go visit his house.
One more quick question. How did he get
Can I ask a question
Bizimunga
after that,
power?
please?
Yeah.
I hope Dynasty is gonna give me equal amount to respond.
Yes.
And
No,
Yeah,
let
yeah,
me
yeah.
Please.
question
I
him.
will. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me pass the mic to Bakuna Bay. Then I'll pass it to you. Call. Go ahead, Bakuna Bay.
How are you guys doing?
I'm
Everything
great.
is lovely, family.
Can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
yes, we can.
Nice, nice. So yeah, I mean, it's very commendable to see that Paul Kagame built like an heaven on earth for like the Rwandese people, because like it's a good thing to know. And actually, I listened to like this brother's testimony about what he experienced in Rwanda. But my opinion on Paul Kagame is that like right now I think he's a little in danger if he doesn't play his cards right, okay? Because what the enemy does is that he uses you up until the time that you're no longer useful to him,
He
all
won't
right?
use you anymore. Yeah.
Right. So and up until very recently, Paul Kagame was very useful, especially to the United States, okay?
How
He was
so?
stealing from his, but it's not a secret. It's not a secret about what the M23 was doing in the Congo, right?
Yeah.
And he's still even doing it, like stealing the resources and all that, right? And
No,
obviously, he wasn't doing.
This is not like what you're saying is not. This is contested.
It's not factual.
That fact is documented, Mr. Eru. Stop.
Of course, of course,
Hold on.
of course. So,
This is very important.
so,
This is important because
so yeah,
people are
so
saying.
yeah, like I was saying,
Hold on.
like I was saying, the
Let him
enemy
finish
is
his
going to
point because I
use
want to
you.
hear your response. Let him finish his point.
Yeah, the enemy is going to use you until you're no longer useful. All right, and that's why you see, City, he was bright enough to simply just directly deal with the people that Paul Kagame was providing, right? And ever since he was bright enough to make that decision, but then look at what's happening. But then the same Paul Kagame that was useful is getting slammed with sanctions, right? Sanctions from who?
America.
From his yesterday, from the person who hired him yesterday. You get what I'm saying? So this was happening. And it happened too many times in history. It happened too many times in Africa. Too many leaders proved themselves to be useful to the enemy. And then later on, like we all saw what happened to many of them. You get what I'm saying? As soon as the enemy no longer needed them. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, it's very commendable, but like it's actually bad for the Rwandese people, okay? Because Paul Kagame didn't go the right way in the way he provided the heaven on earth that he provided to them, okay? Because like we want political leaders, African leaders that are going to provide that heaven on earth by going the right way, all right? Because if you go the right way, but then you provide something that is durable to your people, whereas right now the Rwandese people might simply just see what they have taken away from them, like
March 23 wasn't the right way.
So yeah, you guys understand what I'm trying to say, okay? I'm not saying that Rwanda is going to be broken like overnight, but what I'm trying to say is that right now that their leader is no longer useful to the enemy, all right, or to some enemies, but then shit might happen. You get what I'm saying? And this is the kind of risk that I'm talking about here, okay? So yeah, outside of that, I mean, if you were to only focus on like the good he's doing, but then yes, it's commendable, all right? But like the crimes that are happening in the Congo, because from my knowledge, it didn't even stop, right? There's still killings that are happening in the Congo with this guy, tied to this guy, to Paul Kagame, up to this day, up to right now, from what I learned, all right?
Yeah, but
so this is what needs to be highlighted, huh?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that there could be a possibility that what you learned is an error. And so why I'm saying that is that while I'm in Rwanda, I'm asking these questions, and I'm talking to people from the Congo as well. And but I think a lot of people have to understand is that
do freedom of speech exist in Rwanda? Do they have freedom of speech there?
I mean, do you have freedom of speech in America?
To a degree, not really.
Okay.
I can't say nothing about Charlie Kirk.
So
Okay,
you
but
can't
how
say
about
anything about,
Rwanda?
you can't say things about Israel. I don't get the sense that you can just openly criticize the government without there being any repercussions.
I don't
But I
even
believe
say they're
that
But how
genuine. I
about
say
Rwanda?
small acts.
I believe that that's really the case anywhere you go. Like for instance, in England, if you make posts that they don't like on Facebook, they can come and arrest you in England. So there's
So
a
I
lot
have
of
a
Right.
quick question.
there's
Did
a
you
lot of
say
these.
that they built a car in they manufacture a car in Rwanda?
No, they actually, so they don't manufacture the car from
But
scratch.
that's what you said. Because there's
Listen
assembling
carefully.
plane.
Hold on,
They
listen
have
what
an
I'm saying.
assembling plane in a lot of African countries like Africa, they
Listen
assemble
carefully.
car. Doesn't
Listen
mean they
carefully.
manufacture car.
Listen carefully to what
Right.
I'm
Right.
saying. There's
So
a
you
Right.
said that. You said they
No, hold
manufacture
on.
cars.
Hold on. I know you want to play semantics, but assembly is part of manufacturing. I didn't say that they manufactured it from
No,
scratch.
they said that.
In America, hold on. I didn't say they manufactured it from scratch.
That's
Assembly
what
is
I
an
heard.
aspect.
That's what I heard you saying that they
But that's not what
manufacture
I
cars.
said.
So my question
No,
was, in
do you
Ivory Coast,
understand
they
that assembly?
assemble car, they
Hold
bring
on.
the
Do
part
you
together and
understand
assemble
that?
it.
Hold on. You understand that assembly is part of manufacturing? Do you
Correct.
agree?
No, I won't consider that to be manufacturing at all.
Oh,
Oh, it
then,
definitely is.
oh,
Nah,
okay. Then I
nah.
guess in Detroit, they didn't manufacture cars. So
America
most of
shipped out all its manufacturing plants to other
so
countries.
in
But
Detroit, they
yeah.
were actually assembling the cars in Detroit. You
But
realize that, right? You
that's
realize
what
that
I'm
a lot of
telling
the
you.
parts come from
Making
different
the
parts.
part in a country and bring the part together and assemble it is completely different from manufacturing and producing it. So,
No.
Nah, this
no,
No,
but
no,
you
no.
got
It's
to
an
give me a
aspect.
chance. Now,
Hold
let me
on. No,
explain myself.
it's an aspect
So,
of
like for example,
manufacturing.
right? Let me
But
finish. In Toyota, right? In the Ivory Coast, they bring all the part, they put the part together, all they do, they assemble it together,
yes,
right? That doesn't necessarily mean the manufacturing in Cote d'Ivoire, but they call it assembling plant. Even in French, they have a word for it. So
yeah.
when you say they
Right.
manufacture car in Rwanda, that's what I'm wondering, which type of car they manufacture in
that is
Rwanda.
a portion of manufacturing,
Yes, it's
though.
an
Like
aspect of manufacturing.
Japan.
What he's doing, no, but what he's doing is that he's playing semantics because what he wants to do is he wants to minimize
Yeah,
the progress
Toyota and
that has actually
Japan
been done.
consider that a part of
Because
manufacturing when
because then
they.
you wouldn't expect then you wouldn't call many things manufactured in the United States
I agree.
because things are
Yeah.
brought from different parts
Yeah.
of the world and assembled.
Okay.
So this is just a semantic game. So what he's doing is that he's looking at different pieces to say, and I never said it was manufactured from scratch. I said it was manufactured because the end product actually is a deal that they have with Volkswagen to do assembly. So this is
Okay.
this is
But they
so
do
here,
that in a lot of African countries. They
I
do it
didn't
in
say that
Africa,
I
even
didn't
in
say.
Burkina
Hold on.
Faso, they
I didn't
assemble
say.
cars.
I didn't say that they didn't. I'm just telling you what they're doing in
No,
Rwanda.
but the comparison that you also giving, comparing to Ghana and Nigeria, I know these two countries, there are a lot of trash in the street, right? So
Yeah.
which other African country that you can making comparison with? With
Well,
Kenya, with Nairobi? Will you
yeah.
compare Rwanda with Nairobi?
Well,
Abidjan.
no, Nairobi is a city. Rwanda is a country.
Okay,
So
like Kenya, will you make any comparison?
I
Or
wouldn't.
Ivory
Not at
Coast?
all.
Or Tanzania.
Because I have
Not at
been there.
all. Not at all. Not at
Okay,
all.
so
No, not at all.
why would
I
you
don't think.
say
I know what I saw in Nairobi was absolutely filthy. I saw filthiness in Nairobi. I saw traffic congestion.
Okay.
I saw a lot of problems with the
Yeah.
infrastructure in Nairobi.
Heruma.
However,
Yeah.
the internet speed in Nairobi is better than the internet speed that I think in Kigali, from what I saw. They have
but
very
Okay.
advanced
I've heard
internet
that.
infrastructure
Yeah.
in Nairobi.
And
But
also,
in terms of cleanliness, you
yeah.
cannot compare Nairobi to Kigali. Not even.
but even with the cleanliness that you mentioned,
Yeah.
I was in Sierra Leone. That was the first time that I saw that in Sierra Leone. Every Saturday or every Sunday, they used to come out and
Uh,
clean the street. A lot of
yeah.
African countries they do that.
Yeah,
So
but you
when you
can't.
National
mention that,
Cleaning Day.
these are common
Yeah, but
practice for a lot of African countries,
Yeah. National Cleaning
right?
Day.
the results are quite
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
You can't compare Freetown's cleanliness to
I'm
Kigali.
not making comparison, but I'm saying these are all common practice. But even when you talk about Freetown, right? Freetown,
Yeah.
comparing Freetown with Kigali, Freetown is the only city where all the houses have address. That was the only African country that I've seen that. You can pick up a car
Right.
from the airport and give you address to any middle part of
Yeah.
Freetown. Your number, the
Yeah.
I can't
cab
hear you,
driver will
brother.
drop you.
Yeah. That's true. And you can put a
So
letter and you receive it. When I was young, But one
Yes.
thing that raised my eyebrow.
I'm not quite like, I don't understand this like focus on whether a taxi person can drop you at your address. I don't get it. But if you want to focus on it, I can tell you that all the taxi people I took, who you picked me up in Rwanda, in Kigali, knew where to take me. So I don't know if you had bad drivers. I don't know. I've been in America and I've had taxi drivers make a mistake in where they were driving me out.
Hey, brother Dinas, can I respond to all this?
Yeah. Well, let me do this. Let me read this super chat. Taraka 3897. Thank you for $2 holla. Namibia and Botswana. Go ahead, my uncle.
Yeah, very quick one before you go. You said about the MCAL. You said about the refinery. You said Rwanda having the refined. They have few refinery companies in Rwanda. Could that be because they actually basically extracting next door and they're bringing it to refining in Rwanda? Is that what is making Rwanda more prosperous than Congo?
Well, here's what we know. Here's what we know about supply chain, right? When it comes to supply chain, anyone who is doing value added or finished product is going to get a higher price than someone who has the raw material. Right. So in Rwanda, they have mines for tungsten, and they actually have coltan in Rwanda too. People say, "Oh, Rwanda doesn't have coltan." That's actually
very little, very little.
Just listen carefully to what I'm saying. They're saying that they don't have any, and I said that they actually do. You're saying it's very little, so we can just do comparisons. But keep in mind that when we're talking about a place like Goma or the areas that are actually very rich in the coltan that people are talking about, or tungsten or what have you, please understand that these lines. So there's people who live in Gisenyi who go to work in Goma. They just get on a boat. It's a lake. It's Lake Kivu, and people go back and forth. And they all speak the same language. They speak Kinyarwanda in that area.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
That's another propaganda.
Hold on, no, that's not propaganda. This is absolutely true because I have friends whose parents actually have shops in
Kinyarwanda is not a major language in the area of Congo.
Hold on. In that area of Goma, it absolutely is. They speak Kinyarwanda.
No, that's a lie. I'm from there, bro.
No, that's not a lie. That's actually not a lie.
Eru, I'm from there. So I'm not going to let you lie. Kinyarwanda is not a major language in Goma.
Hold on. I won't let him interrupt you, so don't interrupt him. Thank you.
But I haven't spoken.
Hold on. Haru, you got 1 minute and 30 seconds. I'm passing the call.
Absolutely, people in Goma speak Kinyarwanda. This is actually one of the problems is because they're saying you guys need to go back home to Rwanda because you guys are Tutsis. This is actually one of the issues that's happening, and that would be a whole different show that we would have to do to go into the history of that. But absolutely, people in Goma speak Kinyarwanda, and actually people in M23 speak Kinyarwanda. So what happens a lot of times is that people will mistake Congolese Tutsis for Rwandan Tutsis.
Hey, I just looked it up, so it does say they do speak that in the Goma area.
Absolutely, they do. So what he's saying, so now it calls.
But it's not the major language. That's what I.
Hold on. I never said it was a
major
language.
You moving the goalpost.
No, I never said it was a major language. I said that they speak it there. This is what I said, and you said no, they don't.
Yeah. In all fairness, that's what Harry says. Let's move on.
See, this is what happens. And I need the listeners to realize that all the points of contention has been actually semantics. These are semantics as people.
Haru, I need you to repeat that again. You make a great point.
All the points of contention that you're hearing from everything I'm saying is semantics. Whether assembling a car is manufacturing or not. So what happens? We get bogged down from
that's semantics.
Actually dealing with the real issue right here is that we need to talk about performance. When you start looking at these different African leaders, you can look at Tshisekedi, whatever, with all the resources that he has. What has he done to develop his country?
He is useless. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Look at performance. I want y'all to look at results. And all you have to do is just go take a trip to Kigali, and then go take a trip to Nairobi, go take a trip to Accra, go take a trip to Lagos.
I've been there. I've been to Nairobi. I've been to Kigali.
I'm not talking. I'm talking about to the listeners, so that everyone can actually make up their own mind. I would
I
invite
love the
people.
crowd, but I didn't have anything to compare it to.
But yeah, Accra is filthy. Is absolutely filthy, and that's my place of birth. But I'm just calling it as I see it, man.
Now, I always tell people that Accra is overvalued. Accra is oversold. That's for fact. But when you compare Nairobi to Kigali, that's a different case. That's completely different.
What is
I've
your
been to those two
what is your assessment of
cities.
the
And
comparison?
CD, based on what I see, it seems like Abidjan is more developed than Kigali as well, apart of the filthiness. But I
What's
think it's
that?
more developed. Based on what I see on YouTube,
Hmm.
forgive me, Abidjan look more developed than Kigali. I
You won't
don't know if
even
I'm wrong
compare
there.
it. Ivory Coast based 7 stadiums during the African Cup of Nations. In Kigali, only 1 stadium that I have seen.
Well,
It's not comparison.
It's a
Right
population.
now, they are
Well,
about to play
guys,
African.
hold on. Let Haru finish. I got to pass it the home call.
Well, I mean, you have a population issue where Ivory Coast is much bigger than Rwanda, so you might
Okay.
have more stadiums. But I don't think that you judge development by sports stadiums. This is how you judge development. You judge development by levels of health care. You
The
judge
effect on the
development
people.
by infrastructure. You judge it by water access. You judge it by educational access. And what I'm trying to tell you is that in Rwanda, they're teaching students computer programming as a second language. This is very serious. This is not something that we can overlook. They have a quota for how many engineers
That
they
is
want
done also
graduating from the country.
in South Africa and Botswana.
Hey,
Oh, there's
Odonis, I
nothing,
like this
and I have
brother.
some great things to say about Botswana as well, but we're talking about Rwanda right now. And I actually have not physically been to Botswana, so I'm not going to talk about a place that I have not actually been and seen with my own
Right.
eyes. Because it's different when you're actually there. And it's different when you're living there with your wife and your children and they're going to school and you're part of the fabric of the society and you get to develop relationships and friends and all of that. And you see how the place runs when you try to set up a business. And I'm going to also say this, that in my talks with people in government, they're the most Pan-Africanist government that I've been to. I tell them I'm from Ghana, and they're telling me, please ask more of your Ghanaian brothers to come to Rwanda and let's develop. And oh, you live in the States, ask the brothers from America
All
to come,
African countries are like that. They're all like
come,
that.
come and
That's
develop.
common.
No, well, here's the difference. If I invite you, my brother, and I don't know where you're from. Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Liberia originally.
Okay, you're from Liberia.
Yeah.
Me and you, we can go to
I'm from
Rwanda.
Harlem. I
Okay,
thought you was
and my
talking to
brother
me,
from
my
Harlem too.
bad.
I can hop on a plane with the brother from Liberia and the brother from Harlem, and we can go and set up a business in 7 hours in Rwanda.
Okay, but what I'm telling
Boom.
you, let me respond to that. I don't have business in Rwanda, but I have a business in Nairobi, right?
Yeah.
And I think Kenyans
Yeah,
are the
the
most
line cut
friend.
off. Yeah, CD was breaking, CD.
Okay, yeah, Kenyans are the most friendliest people that I've seen. I've been to Rwanda. I did not like it at all. I struggle in moving around. It was a struggle for me.
Sound like you
But
had a
when
That's
I'm
what
in
you said.
Nairobi,
I think
sound like
when
you
I'm
that
in
was your
Nairobi,
concern, isn't it?
I feel
That was your
Nairobi.
concern.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very difficult for me to move around. And in terms of cost,
can you hold
I
on?
think
My
Nairobi
brother,
is cheaper
could
and
you tell
they're
me
too
about
much.
moving around? Could you just kind of like elaborate on? You had
Okay, look,
trouble
for
moving around.
example, when I took Uber in Nairobi, right, or in Ivory Coast,
Mhm.
all I do is to jump in a cab and the Uber driver know where to drop me. But when I was in Kigali, it was a struggle. Everywhere that I want to go, the cab driver asked me, "Where are you going?" You know. So and it's the technology. It was a struggle for them to even take me where I want to go.
When were you in Kigali?
But
When's the last time you
yes,
were there?
was that
When's the last time you were in Kigali?
the beginning of 2025? Because I was in Africa in 2024 for African Cup of Nations. And
Right.
then when they mentioned that or Kigali or Kenya
Mhm.
or Uganda and Rwanda was going to hold the national African Cup of Nations. So I
Yeah.
said, okay, let me go to
Okay. So
Kigali
you were there
and
recently.
see what
Okay.
if I
Okay. So
can
that's
watch
great.
the next African Cup of Nations.
CD,
Right.
the only thing that's impressive about Rwanda is the literacy rate is quite high compared to a lot of countries.
Very, very high. And that's what I saw. So when you say computer science, I understand that's about, I saw a lot of illiteracy rate, and it was very difficult for most of them to even understand me.
Well, that could be a
But when
language.
the Kenyans are very, very advanced.
No, they know what I mean. The literacy rates, that mean the amount of people that who actually, the human capital development is quite good. They basically, a lot of them went to school. The literacy rate is quite high. It's about 70% people that been to school. That's quite impressive.
Hey, guys, I got to pass the mic.
Rwanda. Yeah.
Go ahead, Omcall. Omcall, mute yourself, Omcall.
This was a good bill.
Thank you for the time. I hope you will afford me enough time so that I can debunk all this, a lot of propaganda which I heard from Mr. Heru. And it's not, allow Mr. Heru, peace happen to you, although you've believed, you bought into Kagame's propaganda.
Just respectful, Just respectful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've heard brother at another channel, and I wanted really badly to ever meet him and speak to him respectfully. So, first of all, let me read. When you say that it's because they've read or they've heard, Brother Heru, I was born in Bukavu. If you've been, I was born in Bukavu. I grew up in a business family. And my family had business partner both in Congo, Burundi, and some in Rwanda. Like if you know, Rujugiro is among the big there, in Rwanda, and the other one who have passed away. And I grew up with friends from both communities. I've been to Rwanda so many times. The last time I was in Rwanda, it's only because of this war. I could never anymore go to Rwanda. But in 2018, I was in Rwanda. Before there, I was, so many times in there. And this is the difficulty which a lot of people who they've come to Rwanda only after, during the Kagame era, don't understand. Yes, there is some credit which we need to give to Rwandan people. And, even before Kagame, during the Abiyarimana government Rwanda used to be called the Switzerland of Africa. A lot of people don't know that this existed. So, yes, comparatively to us, Congolese, yes, our brother in Rwanda, they know how to use that aid amount, which, when they give them aid, they know how to put it properly to its use. Even during Abiyarimana, that was not a strange. You can go and do some research when it comes to that. So, but is it everything which you said is true? Let me read a quote here. And again, I can give even the address where I used to live. When I go to Rwanda, I used to live in Kiyovu. And it's not only for once, no, many times. I'll read in this research book to tell you, because this kind of summarizes everything which I know went down in Rwanda. And this is well-acclaimed research book by Jude River, In Praise of Blood. It's page 3. Then I'll continue with everything else.
Who's the author?
Jude River. Amid the suffering and grief in post-genocide Rwanda, most people simply wished to believe a more palatable construction of history. The story of a morally disciplined RPF rescuing Rwanda from the brink, having fought to save Tutsis from a genocide that was centrally planned by the former Abiyarimana government and carried out by willing Hutu executioners. This story was easier to comprehend than what actually happened, especially by those trying to create moral sense out of the madness of war. They accepted version of exploited the suffering of Tutsis, demonized Hutus, and wrote off crimes perpetrated against Hutus by the RPF as justified because they were considered retaliatory. It also allowed Kagame, his political party, and his armed forces to consolidate power, pocket billions of dollars in aid, and take credit for an economic miracle. Its belief in this narrative of that genocide allowed the international community to stand by and RPF commanders unleashed war in neighboring Congo, where millions have died from the violence and war-related disease since 1996. Okay, so that shows you that I'm not talking only things because I'm Congolese or because I've lived it. No, this is well researched. You can find it in many documents. Actually, even the Brother Dynast's favorite Democratic senator or politician, Cynthia McKean, also touched this. And this was among the points in which Cynthia McKean had a fallout with the Clintons. Because Brother Dynast, if you remember, Cynthia McKean was so close to the Clintons when he started. And he was even the special envoy of the Clintons gang in that area. This is what, let me write another quote here in the book quickly before I continue. Holocaust in Congo, the International Community Omerta by Charles Onana. This is an African brother from Cameroon. Indeed, on November 30, 1998, Cynthia McKinney sent a 1.5-page letter to Ms. Albright in which she said, I'm concerned about the ongoing war in the DRC and the threat it poses to the stability of the Great Lakes region. I am deeply troubled by the continued lack of proper engagement by our administration in managing this war and its implications for Africa and its relations with the United States. The prestige of President Clinton and the United States credibility are at stake. Let me stop there. Anybody who want to know more can read. So
that was on the Madeleine Albright, you said? Yes,
those are the gangs. The one who was criticizing and who was starting to put pressure on their own government, it was Senator Cynthia McKean. So all this Albright, among the gangs who supported Kagame, I will put out names. I'm sorry for both Democrat and Republican. There is the Clinton gangs. First of all, there is the Clinton gangs. There is Susan Rice. There is Ron Brown. There is on the Republican side, I can name a few: Lindsey Graham, Senator Ronnie Jackson. But the people who understood the situation of Congo and they tried to help. Cynthia McKinney tried, and President Obama actually, when he was a senator, he sponsored a law. If that law it's a law of the United States. If it could be implemented, it could have been the better for all that region. Later on, I can give up the law. Now, let me attack the issue or the point.
Yeah, I think Madame Albright was the Secretary of State for.
Yeah, of State at that time. Yeah. Yes. So
I met her before.
Yeah. So the brother spoke about Kigali and Kagame, that it's propaganda. No, it's not propaganda. This is well researched. Even Carla Del Ponte about Kagame. This is the prosecutor who was put in place to do all the investigation. When he discovered the crimes of Kagame and the RPF, do you know what happened? He wanted to pursue them. The United States blocked it. And they had to leak the report for even the journalists to find out. So it doesn't mean that Kagame is a saint or it's only propaganda, like the brother tried to say. So when it's come to, I gave you the example of Mark Twain, the Leopold Solology. Read it, you'll understand, and compare it to Kagame, to everything which you know. Now, when it's come to leadership, I don't believe that Kagame is the best among the African. No, because even if there is credit to go to him, for what price? For the unalivement of millions in Congo, million in Rwanda, and hundreds of thousands in Uganda? Because if you meet Ugandan, Paul Kagame propagandists, they're not going to tell you this. Paul Kagame committed massacres and crime even in Uganda. So there are black leaders who are there. We can give the example of Magufuli of Tanzania. That guy with the bigger country, he did a great work. You cannot compare Tanzania to Rwanda, man. Even if Rwanda have been given so much aid, but you cannot compare. There is Sekama. There is Mogweti. So now, is Rwandan off? I can give, sometimes when I speak, I can put even on a video. During COVID, Rwanda, first of all, is a landlocked country. A lot of people there in Rwanda are poor. The people who are better off, they are those people who are in RPF and they are connected to RPF. Actually, let me tell you something. The RPF and Paul Kagame control probably more than 50% of business of Rwanda. In Rwanda, if you go to invest in the big business, you can never invest in Rwanda without somebody from RPF or Paul Kagame having in your business. Actually, because you don't know, even the Rwandan business people, they've been stressing this. They've been, trying to raise their awareness about this. Paul Kagame has been taking over most of Rwandan businesses. And this has been a problem even with some of his so-called Tutsi social class brothers. But because you are from the outside and you don't know some of the inner, you won't know this. Now, when you talk about that thing of, the policy, which also I commend, it's a good policy to Rwanda if it could be implemented in a just way. They know who to know Tutsi policy. Unfortunately, the Kagame gang used that to promote only most of the Tutsi. I can give you example even on video. There is a list which is that. Rwanda is like an apartheid regime, my brother and sister. Don't just hear propaganda stuff. For example, in Rwanda, all the CEO and the general directors of Rwandan boards and high public agencies are only Tutsis. Not only there. Do you know that the whole army apparatus, the general, among all these general and the colonel, there is only one so-called Hutu general, and he doesn't have really a major function. All right. Know that. Let me continue on other. Even in business, I can go on even in sports, in all major, every major, factor of society.
I get your point.
It's mainly,
I would not invest Rwanda because I know.
Let me finish. Yes. Yeah, let me finish. Now, when you talk about Rwanda, it's like an open air. There is this. Let me give you the quote in this. There is an article. You can read this article in the Guardian. Not for me. Rwanda is like a pretty girl with a lot of makeup, but the inside is dark and dirty. Go read that, then you'll understand what Rwanda is. Now,
I understand where you're coming from. I understand the sentiment because of the rivalry.
Hold on. Let me finish. It's not only because of the rivalry. No, it's not the rivalry. This is true. Yeah. I'm from Goma. I'm from
my brother. Listen, man. What you're saying, it makes sense. I don't. Yeah. Rwanda. I would not invest in Rwanda compared to Nairobi because I feel that the country can be very instability can come at any time with a certain level of suppression. With level of insecurity.
That's why they did not send refugees to Rwanda from the UK. It's one of the reasons. Well, I'm going to step down. Sidi, my brother, and everyone. Dennis, thank you very much.
Let me speak on poverty.
I'll catch up with you soon.
Let me speak on poverty. If Rwanda could be if Rwanda could be that paradise like your brother Heru describes it. My brother from Kenya, didn't you notice that there are a lot of Rwandans in Kenya? Why are a lot of
Rwandans doing manual work? Even
in Uganda, in Uganda a lot. Even in Congo, I'm telling you. If the time when Congo closed its border with Rwanda for 1 week, there was demonstration in Rwanda, especially in Gisenyi and Lubavu. There was demonstration because of poverty. Because most of the people on that side, they have to come to Congo to work, manual labor, and even do small businesses so as to survive. So when you want to tell me that, actually, since you've been to Rwanda, I'll give you, when peace will be, for example, before this war of M23, even my other cousin from Rwanda, I used to tell them this, they were like, no, Benny, maybe you are just, you are over, putting things. They went. These are my cousin who, their mother is a Tutsi, so-called Tutsi from Rwanda, and dad is from Congo, like me. So he went to Rwanda.
We got people on the panel, so
let me finish. And he went to Rubavu. When he went to Goma, he was surprised. He told me, man, there is so much money in Goma than the whole of Rwanda. There is circulation of money. So also the Rutendo issue. Rutendo himself, he was on camera in 2024 saying that after all that what he criticized Paul Kagame about, he was threatened. And the threat, it was not only against him, but there was only to the level of his government, there was friction which was created between Rwanda and Zimbabwe, to the point to which later on he went silent. We only saw him now, starting talking pro Kagame stances. And the people were like, wow, we understand the game. So that is it was on video, yes. Yes, and it's not only me. Rutendo was threatened. Okay, last point.
I gotta read these super chats and pass the mic. PCH Rise 1559. Thank you for $20 holla. Greeting to Dynus and the channel. Traka. All right, go ahead, Traka.
1 point about Hutu 10 command. I mean, 10 command.
I gotta pass the mic. Go ahead, Traka.
Yeah, no, we need to listen to him, but let me just say something because he's from that area. The idea of a Rwanda is absolutely beautiful. The way the country is set up, even though it was, under certain circumstances, the way it's set up with the 50% or more than 50% women in politics, the whole night is like some entity put it together. Listen, you got to make it like this, right? And this how you have to conduct in the country, while all the other underhand thing was going on. And to hit him and his government credit, he did an excellent job, right? As far as giving that fantasy side of this is Rwanda. We came in, we suffered, we paid our dues, we rose like a phoenix. You see what I'm saying? So the idea of a Rwanda is absolutely beautiful. No, what I want to say is, now that it's built, now that it's built the way it is right now, right? How? Because they cannot go into a civil war again. If they get into a civil war, it's everybody around that area is going to get mixed up right into it, right? So now that we're having a shift, a dramatic shift in the world, a dramatic shift in the world. How are we, while they're concentrating over there, that side of the world?
Yeah.
What are Africans prepared to do to get everything right? How they gonna is the Congo gonna allow America to step in and start dictating again? Cause all they did was just switch from one president to the next. They just bouncing back and forth to control it, right? How is Rwanda and the Congo and everybody's in that basin, Uganda and the rest of them in that triangle or whatever, right? How now you're gonna fix the internal problem? You see what I'm saying? And move forward together. Are you guys gonna let as far as the Congo, let US come in and control everything? Is that what we're going through again? Is that the norm again? That's gonna be the norm now?
I would hope not.
This is the problem.
Dynus, can I just say something real quick?
This is the problem.
After Traka's Dragoon, I'll let call respond.
Yeah, let Dragoon speak. 30 more seconds. As far as cleanliness, I would say Botswana and Namibia. As you know, Dynus, you could attest to that Namibia are extremely clean countries, just as much as from what I see. Am I right, Dynus? As Rwanda.
As Rwanda.
What you said? What city?
Namibia.
No, country. Namibia and Botswana.
I've never been to Rwanda, but Namibia is definitely clean. I've never been to Rwanda.
Yeah. Extremely clean, and Botswana also, as far as from what I see, they say it's not that. And then you have entities of very clean cities and stuff throughout Africa. It's not just Rwanda alone. I just want to dispel that myth. Okay, go ahead, Dragoon.
Go ahead, Dragoon.
Real quick.
Will. I go ahead, Dragoon.
Thank you very much. Good evening, guys. I must say, I've been really fascinated by both Heru and indeed by, I think, is it Mao? What both of you had to say was quite enlightening for me. My view on Rwanda, having not traveled there and read a bunch, Paul Kagame was somebody I used to salute until I read deeply into him and him.
Hey, Jagoon, you're on your Obama phone, Jagoon. You're on your Obama phone.
That's Obama phone.
Yeah, you're
Oh
on
my
your Obama
God.
phone, Jagoon. We lost
Before
you.
we crash out on Obama.
Yeah,
Hold
let me pass it to go ahead, K2. Unmute yourself, K2.
Can I respond to the question with the brother asked?
No.
Panel. Go ahead, K2. I'll pass it to you. Go ahead, K2.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate you letting me on the show. I had to check in because anytime y'all are talking about this topic, I'm always interested because I want to learn. But at the same time,
Wait there. Who's that?
yeah,
Am I
this
still
K2.
speaking?
No, face the Obama phone, bro. Face the Obama
I
phone.
passed the mic to
Do
K2.
I
We'll
got the
come
floor?
back to you. You're
I got the
on your
floor.
Obama phone. Go ahead, K2.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, appreciate y'all letting me on. I've been listening for a minute. I hesitated. I got some stuff I got to do tonight or whatever. But this is what I want to say with the whole Kagame, Rwanda, and honestly, y'all don't even talk enough about Uganda when it comes to this, and Museveni. But this is my whole thing. First off, I'll say that when it comes down to it, on the surface, what Kagame's doing in Rwanda it is good as far as the streets are clean, the cost of doing business, and it being smooth. All that's good. You would want that from any leader in Africa, period. You know what I'm saying? However, this is the thing, because I'm a person that, like, look, you want good leaders, period. And really you want a good leader overall. Like, there were times, I don't know, 7-8 years ago, maybe I might have said, like, hey man, let Kagame run the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? But then when you peel off the layers of the onion, and again, this isn't saying that I'm completely against Kagame, it's the whole, right?
There's
So
room for
when you
criticism.
right, so the thing of it is this: when you peel off the layers of the onion and you realize what it really is, without the backing of the West, Rwanda would not be where it's at right now. So at the end of the day, clean streets, this, that, and the third, the fact that they've allowed him to do that, there have been plenty of other leaders. I got a person that I work with, not coworker, but somebody that's within my industry. I talked with him, didn't know where he was from. Yeah, I wouldn't say a friend, colleague, acquaintance, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I'm asking, hey, where you from? Because I can understand, outside of this FBA, because I'm, hashtag quote unquote FBA.
I'm not.
And I don't, well, yeah, whatever you want to call it, because I'm sure that's Wall Street Willie. And it's like, look, bro, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, bro, like, I don't get into all of that, because as far as I'm concerned, I understand to a small degree of the point of when I look at the delineation, I understand it's really more or less us claiming a tribe that we didn't have before. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you want to call it, because any other day you could call it something different, but we're talking about a specific thing here for us here. That's all that is. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand that to a degree, but I'm not with the whole, we're not African. We don't.
Hey, K2, let's try to get back to the topic.
My bad. So my bad. So this is what I'm saying when it comes to Kagame, and like I said, we don't even talk about it enough with Uganda and Museveni or whatever. This is my whole thing. The way that Kagame runs his country, the cleanliness of it, the smooth, like he runs it like a business essentially, and I'm with that. You know what I'm saying? This is my whole thing, because I don't necessarily have a problem with Kagame himself. I have a problem with when you peel the layers back, where it comes back to. the stuff that's going on in the Eastern Congo, this is the problem that I have. The
M23.
M20, yes, the M23, you cannot say that that's just some random rebel group that for some odd reason has more firepower, more of this, that, and the third,
Than
than
everybody else.
everybody
Yeah.
else, and they're able to take over literally the whole government. And I think Call has even mentioned that. From what I can't say what I know, what I've heard, what the bits of things that I've taken in.
Western perspective.
Well, no, not Western perspective. This is what I'm saying. A lot of people don't understand because we don't like Mobutu, and I don't like Mobutu. But at the time that Mobutu was running stuff, the Congolese army was strong. They literally took that whole thing, separated that whole thing. When the refugees from Rwanda that got kicked out in the 60s, when they turned everything over, because you got to remember, when they cut everything up and the Belgians were in control, they had the Tutsis who are, and I'm not 100% sure on this, somebody please correct me, but like, as far as the Tutsis and the Hutus, I'm pretty sure in the Rwanda and the Burundi area, the Hutus are like 80% in both of those countries.
You're talking about the Second Congo War.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is this. Before it was, hey, we're going to put this smaller minority in charge of everything, whether it be 20 or 30% of the people, we're going to put them in charge of everything. Then in the 60s, when independence was coming in, when you had your Lumumbas and you had your Kwame Nkrumahs in Ghana and this, that, and the third, they're turning it over to the people. They said, all right, well, look, we have to figure out some way to even be outside without having boots on the ground. We still need to be able to control this stuff. So we're going to turn it over to these people, but we're going to keep chaos going on. So they kick these people out. They leave as refugees. Stuff is still in chaos. Then you are supporting them in the background in Tanzania to build up rebel armies to go in and invade these countries and overturn the governments that they already have. That happened in Uganda. That happened in Rwanda. It happened all over that whole entire area. Right.
South America as well.
Right. So the point that I'm getting at is this. The way that they actually run their stuff, because I had a homie reach out to me about getting some land, and like my whole thing is Rwanda is actually running smooth. It's a place that I would want, like I'd feel more comfortable actually getting land in. But with everything that they have going on, you don't know how long will it last until something goes on. And especially now that they're sanctioning them, because again, Kagame has been good. Like, and that's the biggest question that you have to ask. Well, I mean, how have you been able to do? Not even how does he deal with it? How does he? It doesn't have anything to do with how he deals with it. How were you able to do all of this for all of this time without
Western support?
No, not even just without Western support, without them counter supporting you, if that makes sense.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? So you were able to do all of this or whatever because it benefited them. The only reason that they're sanctioning you now is because you don't have any more use. You know what I'm saying? And that's the issue that we're in now.
When they put their foot on your neck, can you maintain?
Hey, K2, you got 30 seconds. I gotta
30
pass
seconds. My last 30 seconds, this is what I want to say. Point blank period. You got what they're doing in Rwanda or Uganda, because again, we don't talk about that whole behemoth Tutsi, the empire type thing, but it's like now they're doing the same thing that they've done everywhere else. My question is, he's a good leader, cleaning up the streets, this, that, and the third, in those senses or whatever, but it's not working for everybody else in that spectrum. That's where I'm gonna leave it.
Go ahead, Jagoon.
Can I be heard now?
Yeah, go ahead, Jagoon.
Yeah, okay, I'm being heard. Okay.
Just real quick, Jagoon. Like
no. I gotta close out soon.
Dennis, I gotta drop off. But I just want to say something.
Go ahead, Dragoon. Go ahead, Dragoon.
Okay, I'll try and speak. I was just really saluting the conversation. It was quite open, and I learned a lot, especially in terms of understanding what's going on in the ground today in Rwanda. But just like the last speaker said a lot of what I was going to say about how Rwanda is in the state it's in so quickly after a horrible genocide. They've done a great job. And I will say again that the European, because, Belgium and France have a lot of hand in that country. And it could very well be, as the last speaker spoke, that the hand of Belgium and France is not as big as America. So America is putting its foot down. And in its putting its foot down, this may not work very well for
leadership.
Kagame. I really enjoyed what our man from Congo had to say, because I think that is more true to the ground than even what Heru had to say. What Heru had to say is he flew in and he saw a black country doing well. Now, this could be, a thing of furore based on, we all like to be gladden-hearted by a country that seems to be run well. This will gladden any black person's heart. But you may not be seeing the truth and the true reality of what that nation is. I'll end it there.
All right, go ahead, Carl. Then we got to close it. Carl, you got 2 minutes and we're closing out.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yes. Now,
man.
Before you close,
Willie, I got it. I got. Carl, you got 2 minutes. We got to go.
Yes, a lot of people, and this is what the Rwandan have done for you.
Are you at a warehouse or something? There's a beeping in the background.
Oh, so sorry. No, it's my place. So probably over there, far in the kitchen. Go ahead. Yeah. So I'm reading a quote here in that journal, in the Guardian again. America's secret role in the Rwandan genocide, paragraph 30. This is what I'll read. Kagame, then senior officer in both the Ugandan Army and the RPF, was in Kansas at the United States Army Command and General Staff College at Fort Leavenworth, studying field tactics and psyops, propaganda techniques to win hearts and minds. And this is what the work which they are doing, this is what they've win heart and mind of Mr. Heru. But it's mainly propaganda. I'm not saying that everything Kagame is doing something, but it's not really for the death of more than 10 million other African, and you are saying this is it's appalling. Okay, yes, a lot of people knows about the Hutu massacres, and that has to be condemned. But do you know that the Tutsi also have 10 commandments of Tutsi, governing? It's called 10 Commandments of Tutsi colonization. Have you ever heard about it, Brother Heru? Probably not, because they are good. They are good at hiding stuff. Now,
you asked me a question.
So let me finish. It was rhetorical. In Goma, of course, the major language which we speak in eastern part of Congo, the major language you speak is Kiswahili. But in Goma itself, it's a Kihunde word. So we speak Kihunde, but yes, there is a big community of Banyarwanda because our brothers coming into the area also, the end of 18th century. Then they came in bigger number in the 1959 when Kagame family also ran to Uganda, and they kept coming and coming. It was not a problem because as African, we can live together. It became a problem when Kagame took power and they were trying to, they are pushing, saying that the situation or the problem in Congo, it is about ethnic problem or stuff. No, this is instrumentalization of the Rwandan ethnic problem, which they are trying now to export into Congo. But it's not purely ethnic stuff. These people who want to reign on that whole region. So he spoke again about the retribution. Man, if you read the Carla Del Ponte's book. Carla Del Ponte was the prosecutor of the Rwandan, stuff which happened in Rwanda.
Where does Uganda and Muhoozi and all them come in?
Yes. I'm not gonna go even on that, but the investigator, the South African lawyer who was in charge of the team which investigated about the violation that took place in Congo from 1993 until 2000, I think it was 2010. Navi Pillay said this: the crime documented in the Congo mapping reports, if taken into the competent tribunal, because it's in tribunal, Kagame and the Rwandan Patriotic Front will be accused or probably found guilty of genocide.
Okay, we got to close out.
Wait.
Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family.
Seconds.
Don is the mirror. Search for Haru.
Dinus, 30 seconds, please.